Episode 7, Bright Eyes. And it's your boy Icon with a Marvel Animated TV review, going over that X-Men 97 as we're approaching the end, because after this episode now we only got 3 episodes left. I'm over the intro at this point because they done put Charles back. And like Jubilee's still out of place and everything. So in this particular episode, it was mostly centered around Rogue for the most part, because the 2 different stories here where they're at Gambit's funeral. And everybody, and I thought Rogue was at the funeral because there was a girl there who actually had white hair, and nobody, brown hair with the white strands, and nobody said anything. I thought it was Rogue, but Jubilee got upset because she was like, how could Rogue not be here? And I was like, oh, so she's not here, whatever. So what ended up happening was Rogue was on a rampage mission, and she was tearing through the cosmos trying to find the guy who created the Sentinels. Rogue was looking for him. The X-Men, they went to Genosha so they can help out with the relief efforts, so they can prove to the world that the X-Men are still here and they haven't abandoned mutant kind. So while they're there, they're looking into it. They're helping people. They did find one person that they rescued. Jubilee had a conversation with her boyfriend who said that, he was going to finally tell his parents, and then she went with him. And then, his parents already knew he was a mutant, but she was like, you have to hide. And then Jubilee was like, hold up. And then while the X-Men were there, Drask, I think that was his name, Drask. Then Drask contacted the mutants when they were on Genosha. And he said, listen, if you want the answers to all your questions or, to the people you want to find, come see me and I'll tell you everything that you need to know. Rogue now, she busted up the military because she's looking for Drash too. She bumped into General Ross, and then General Ross was just like, oh, we're down here in a Hulk-proof, facility, and then Rogue busted through that shit. She yoked him up, and then she was like, where's Drask? And then he's like, I thought you were one of the good guys. And then she said, you killed all the good guys on Genosha. She's like, so now you get me. And then she took off her glove, and she extracted the information from, because Rogue was basically going ham because she's like, she's the rage has been built in. And even Wolverine said that. He said that she's going through something now and she needs to figure out a way to work it out on her own. So, the information that she got from Ross takes her to Russia or the Arctic or somewhere overseas. And then while she's overseas looking for this dude, she bumps into Captain America. Good old Captain America, Steve Rogers, who still got the wings on the back of his helmet. She bumps into Cap, and then Cap is just like, hey, listen, I'm looking for the same person that you're looking for, but I got to do this by the book because I'm a symbol of America, and if I go off the rails, it'll be an international incident. And then she was just like, you're a coward because you should be championing for mutant kind. And he's like, well, I ain't a mutant, but he said, I have to do this by the book, so my hands are tied. And then she took his shield, threw it across the street, and then she proceeded to go find the person who she was looking for. So Rogue finds the guy that she's looking for, who was in Mexico somewhere. She uses her power to steal his memories, and now she knows where Drask is, and she goes to find him. When she gets to the city that he's in, she was emotionally upset. She was crying over the death of, a Gambit. And then that's when Nightcrawler showed up, because if he's going to be in the goddamn intro, he might as well be in the episode. Nightcrawler, who also was the priest for the Gambit funeral, he showed up, he talked to Rogue, the 2 of them cried together and embraced each other. The rest of the X-Men showed up, so now the whole team is back together. So they go to Drask's building, they find Drask. He's floating in the air, and he's just like, oh, he said that there's somebody pulling Sinister strings, and Sinister works for somebody, and the person that he works for is creating brand new, Sentinels, Sentinels that have never been seen before. And then Rogue grabs him, and then she's like, well, tell us where this person is. And he was like, I can't help you. And then she's like, well, neither can I. And then she threw him off a building, and then she killed him. So the X-Men are in disarray. And then Wolverine actually was, because after Rogue threw Homeboy off the building, and then Cyclops and everybody was like, Rogue, what have you done? And then Wolverine was like, she did everything that the rest of us wanted to do, but she just had the guts to do it. And then that's when Morph was like, is this who we are now? And then Rogue was just like, he killed Remy, he killed Magneto, he killed everybody. And then the guy basically floated up out of nowhere and blew up the building with all the X-Men in it and knocked Rogue out. Come to find out, he was transformed into a organic Sentinel. So we're going away from the robot thing. We're not doing the robot Sentinel thing anymore. This person was Drax. He was transformed into an organic Sentinel, which is supposed to be harder now for the X-Men to defeat. And he was pretty much whooping all their asses individually. So now everybody's shot. And I guess him dying activated. Maybe he was always an organic Sentinel, and then he just went through the transformation when he got thrown off the building. But now he's beating up the mutants, whatever. Everybody down for the count. And then right before he kills Cyclops, then an EMP bomb shows up out of nowhere, and then here comes Cable. Cable shows up, and then he's just like, oh, we got to hurry up and do something before what happens here affects the future. And then that's when Cable looked at Jean, and then Jean looked at him, and then Jean saw the memory of Madeline seeing that was her son, and then Cyclops figured out that was his son, and then he was like, we ain't got time to talk, Pops. He's like, we got a world to save. Now it's completely awkward for everybody. So Cable's here. I assume Cable's going to be on the show now for the remaining 3 episodes, and it's going to be this awkward thing between him, Jean, Madeline, who they said had died in Genosha, so they're saying that like they still couldn't find her, so she's still unaccounted for. But now they're going to end up being with Cyclops and Cable and everybody, and they're going to try to prevent the organic Sentinels from rising, which, like I said before, is basically in the last 3 episodes, we're going to enter time travel territory. We're either going to go in the past, we're going to go in the present, we're going to end up doing time travel to try to prevent these organic Sentinels from showing up, and whatever they do, what they do to save, mankind and to stop the organic Sentinels from rising to power, that's what's going to end up saving people like Gambit, and it's going to end up saving Genosha. And then finally, Storm wasn't in the episode, which was weird. And then finally, in the last, at the very end, this new person that Sinister is following, because who would have thought Sinister would actually be working for somebody? This new person that Sinister is working for, the two of them you never really saw the guy's face, but him and Sinister were having a conversation, and then Sinister was like, you fool, he said, what you did by having Drax reveal himself, he said, you put the X-Men on our path, and the X-Men are going to find out who we are. And he's just like, oh, it doesn't matter, he's just like, they can do what they want, my plans will never be, like unwritten or whatever. And then he goes to some secret barber shop somewhere in the middle of nowhere, where come to find out Magneto is not dead, which I said he wasn't. Magneto's not dead, he's actually just tied up somewhere in a wooden house where there's no metal around him for miles and miles. This guy has Magneto tied up in a chair, and he's basically giving him a shave, and I don't know why he's shaving him, or I don't know why he's keeping him. Maybe he's using his because maybe that's the key, because Sentinels are robots, they're like electronic beings, and they can be taken down by EMPs. Maybe if you use Magneto's DNA or Magneto's blood to build the Sentinels, maybe that will create a resistance to them where they can't be taken down by like magnetism or electronic devices. That might be it, but or he's just using his DNA to create these new organic Sentinels. I don't know, but that's how the episode ended. Thank you for tuning in. So like I said, 3 episodes left, and it's real great. Like Wolverine finally spoke, like more than 2 sentences. Storm still isn't in the mix. Like there are a lot of people who are unaccounted for. Charles is on his way back. They actually did bring up Charles because the person who Sinister is working for has a camera in outer space where he actually saw Charles, and he knows Charles is on his way back. So it's gonna be this whole big thing. But like I said, we're getting a 3-part, like a 3-parter to close the show. I'm looking forward to it. I know you guys are looking forward to it. So share your questions, comments, and or concerns down below, and we will continue to talk about it. Check out not my other reviews, because we ain't got no other reviews yet, but until we do have some more reviews, check out other videos on my channel, because I do have a lot of stuff coming up in the woodworks, because again, we're almost in convention season, where the first stop is going to be Brooklyn Comic-Con. But for now, like I said, look into Red Eyes Entertainment, because we will have more things for Fashion Week, Swim Week, Anime NYC, and all of the above. And I can't wait for more superhero goodness, especially now that Superman and Lois finished wrapping up their final season, and I'm looking forward to that, because they got one more chance to give Jon Stewart the ring. So until next time, guys, so for some more, and keep your eyes burning bright, because we're out this